Well, there is a lot happening in our country right now and across the world that keeps everyday South Dakotans worried and anxious. What keeps you up at night? Mr. Johnson, you get the question.
Well, I've got 3 young sons, and I think anytime you've got children, you are willing to think more about the long term. You're less concerned about today. I mean, of course, you're concerned about the day-to-day concerns, but more than that, you wonder, am I going to be able to keep my children safe? Are they growing up in a world that they will be able to feel secure in? Does a $21 trillion debt, are we passing that on to them? Is there a chance that we're bankrupting our country because we continue to want to spend more and more and more money? Just on a personal level, I have to tell you, I'm sometimes concerned about the cynicism and the anger that we see in society. I mean, we've got 40 million Americans that are suffering from mental health issues. Are we doing enough to get them help? Are we making sure that they're growing up in a world like my children are growing up in? I mean, we want that world to be much better. And those are the things that keep me up at night.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Bjorkman, what keeps you up at night?
Well, Don, we raised 4 sons, 3 of whom served in the Iraqi war era in the United States Army, and they're having children now. And so these precious new lives that are coming into the world really have struck Kay and I in a way that nothing else has before. And when I looked into the eyes of our first granddaughter, I had to ask, what kind of a nation are we leaving behind for her and her children and her generation? And you know, the reality is this: they are not going to be able to afford the financial costs if we don't start controlling our spending, but also treating the needs of people who I saw in the court system. And so Dusty's exactly right about mental health. I've made that a hallmark of my campaign. And one of the things that's so hard as a judge, I saw on the bench what a cost we pay as a society for failing to timely treat mental health. And, you know, again, we've got to talk about reality. And Dusty, while he was chief of staff, as he talked about, had a prime opportunity to use this state as a laboratory with other states to expand Medicaid. It was a bad decision that we have paid for dearly. It's cost us $300 to $500 million every year, Don. We're sending our federal tax dollars there, but we're not getting money back to help treat our needs, while North Dakota and a lot of other Republican states are. So it's because of that that Sheriff Milstad here in Sioux Falls is the largest provider of mental health services in the state. And we've got to do better, and we've got to devote funds to treat needs.
All right.